Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Rogers, lead with the Mr. Rogers Homes team and your Arizona Real Estate Wealth Building Connection. Today's video is a list of the top 5 most common real estate questions we are asked here in the Valley of the Sun. So let's dive right into it. And if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you with a reply as soon as possible. Thank you, and let's dive right into it. The first question is, how important are home inspections? So that would be question number 1. And that one ironically came in as the most popular question asked of our team members here in, again, the Valley of the Sun on the Mr. Rogers Homes team. So the quick answer for that, and again, should you have any questions, please just leave me a comment and I can get in depth for any of the questions or answers to the questions. That being said, the home inspection is something that I would always recommend, or we always recommend to our clients. I always believe that the cost of the home inspection, and they vary anywhere from, I've seen 200 low to 500 high. Usually it's based on the square footage of the property and the amount of perhaps exterior levels, swimming pool, etc., etc. But for the most part, that range is pretty solid of a dollar figure. But of course, you can get different quotes from different inspectors, and most real estate agents will be able to provide you a couple inspectors that would be able to, again, perform the services in the area on the property that you're interested in. But to answer the question specifically, or how important I feel or we feel the inspections are, I think if we're going to go by numbers on a 1 to 10, probably 10.5. What an inspector can discover during the inspection might save you thousands of dollars, or let you know that the house is in, for lack of a better term, ship shape, or it's a sinking boat, aka the Titanic. So anywhere in between, most commonly, an inspector will find a list of things that may need your attention. Traditionally, I call them green, red, and yellows. The green are just little things that you might want to pay attention to, for pretty much a trip to Home Depot over the weekend, and you can take care of that. The yellow might be something that you'd want to ask your agent to, again, reach out to the sellers or the listing agent and just ask about those particular items and or put them on the contract. And I won't dive deep into it, but you would ask for said repairs based on a list from the inspector and your negotiations with the seller going back and forth, being that you're the buyer, to see what of those yellow items you could have addressed. And then of course the last would be red, and those would be danger, Will Robinson, probably something that you wouldn't want to move forward with the house on. Some of the most common ones might be foundation, roof, and or air conditioning, just the big ticket items. And again, any of the red, yellow, or green items are always negotiable on the contract. It's just what level you feel most comfortable with moving forward or not comfortable with and walking away. So that's the answer to question number 1. And we'll move on to question number 2. Okay, question number 2. What's more popular, single-story properties or 2-story properties? And you know, the best way to answer this is it's all personal preference. I can give you a little bit of guidance on traditionally a 2-story property will give you, again, if the lots are apples to apples, meaning the lot that the properties are on the same size, traditionally a 2-story, since it's built up 1 story on top of another story, would give you more land surrounding the property because, again, it's 2 stories. And then a single story would give you less land, backyard, left, right, and front property because the actual single story property or home is sprawled out. What's better? You know, that's always, and ironically, by the numbers, it's, I would say, a 50-50, but a couple FYIs. With a single story property, usually it doesn't have that many stairs, and stairs may or may not be something people are okay with. meaning they don't want the stairs to be a hazard for them going up and or downstairs. And then traditionally, a single story home will also have a split floor plan, which might be important to you. And that's more of a layout question, but perhaps you want the master bedroom on one side and the other bedrooms on the other side, thus a split floor plan. Why I bring that up is because two stories are very popular for that situation. Here in Arizona, many of the master bedrooms are on the first floor, and then the extra bedrooms, perhaps the children's bedrooms, are on the second floor. So that separation there. And again, it depends on what best fits your needs. But as far as what's better or what's more popular, I would say single stories would probably edge out the two stories, but really not by that much. Your best way of determining is what is best for you would be to perhaps think of the traffic of how many times you would be going up or down the stairs. Again, if you're the adults and most everything's on the first floor, the second floor or stairs may not be of an issue. But on the flip side, if you're on the second floor and having to go up and down the stairs is a concern to you, or what is on the second floor versus what is on the first floor. Again, let's use laundry for an example. If all of the bedrooms are on the second floor and the laundry is on the first floor, well, it would make sense that you're going to be going up and down the stairs with the laundry. And so that might just be a quick fix by saying, well, I'd like to look for houses that have the laundry on the second floor where all the bedrooms are. Problem solved. But again, what's more popular? It really all personal preference. If you would like maybe a bigger backyard, I guess a two-story would be more in your wheelhouse because you have that backyard space. And if low maintenance is more of the issue, then a single story build spread would cover up more of that apples for apples lot size, so there would be less yard, thus, or hypothetically, less maintenance. Well, that's question number 2. Question number 3. And I truly thought question 3 was going to be the top question, or most commonly asked question. But 3 out of 5, it's still ranking very high. That question being is how accurate are online home values or home estimates? And I can do a whole series on that most excellent question. But a broad stroke answer would be it depends on what site you're actually getting that home value or estimate from. If we're going to use the most popular ones, I would say that they're not that far off commonly. And again, there's always the 80-20 rule, as the data that those sites gather all come from a compiling system, and they, for lack of a better term, spit out this information or that estimate to try to be as accurate as possible. But they, again, haven't toured the property. Their data may not be a 100% up to speed, but just based on the location or popularity or lack of popularity based on the location of the house in question. The best way to get a comparison and truly see where that number or how accurate that value is would be to have a professional give you what we call a CMA, comparable market analysis, or again, it's called many different names, maybe home value report, but whatever the actual title of that would be, the bottom line is you would have a professional, and most do that for no charge. And I say that as our team would be more than happy just to give you a free, no obligation CMA to see where that value lies. Some of it we can dial in without even visiting the properties. And then obviously the more accurate the number, the more we'd like to spend the time and actually see what the house does have, what it doesn't have, when upgrades were done, what upgrades might be needed. And that's really how you dial in the actual true value of that. And not to go deep into the subject, but let's just for a second go question 3A. Many times when the market's hot for sellers, like it here is currently, or currently is here in Arizona, whatever the value may actually be, that doesn't necessarily mean that numbers where we have to list the house or advertise slash pre-advertise. We might be able to, for lack of a better term, test the waters and go a little bit higher. And the flip side again is also true. Should the market be slower and the inventory is vast, then we might have to get more aggressive on pricing and advertising, et cetera, et cetera. But in just a commonly referred to market where it's a buyer slash sellers, you definitely like to get a dialed in value and then see from a professional's point of view what their range was versus what that home estimate is. I'm asked all the time, is this accurate or not? And I I sometimes giggle that if the price on said sites is quite high, then the potential seller is very much in agreement with the online estimate. And again, the opposite is true. Should their home value online be much lower than they think, then of course that site really may not be, as accurate as they would like it to be. And again, that may or may not be true, but a lot of factors go into it. And traditionally, as a broad stroke, most of those sites are within the realm of on or accurate, but they're just never going to be able to be spot on without, in my humble professional opinion, visiting the property and seeing what it offers and what it doesn't offer, and the surrounding areas. Just a lot of other outside data goes into how accurate that number is. And I just don't think that any third party online sites could be as accurate as somebody that does it locally as a professional could be. So I guess to recap would be, how accurate are they? It depends. So if you have a question or if you'd like a free CMA, just again, leave us a comment or send us a private message. We'd be more than happy to take care of it for you. And I guess we'll see how accurate that third party site is versus what we do. Okay, on to question number 4. And I did not think this one would make the list, but looking back on it, now I know why it did. There's a shortage of houses here in the Valley of the Sun, so new builds have become all the rage. And the question is, what are some of the best upgrades to add to a potential new build property? The quick answer to that is, it depends. And it depends on what builder you go with and what model with that builder you go with. So once we determine that, we can see what that house comes with and what it doesn't come with. Thus, you would need to add on or upgrade. Some of the most popular ones off the top of my head would be adding more tile or hardwood floor, replacing carpeting. A very close second would be the actual countertops, where you would go from laminate to granite. A couple little secret ones that I'll feel free to give you right now would be adding more power outlets. Sometimes on the kitchen countertops, sometimes as the backsplashes. Many times you'd want extras in the garages towards the front, so you wouldn't need such a long extension cords. And one of my favorites, not many people think of, but over the years, with the amount of new build houses that we have consultated on, a power outlet, ready? In the master bedroom closet. Wow. And what I mean by wow is you never know what items you need to plug in the master bedroom closet. Tie racks, cell phones, cameras. I can't tell you the number of times I've had people say, boy, I wish I would have went ahead with some of those upgrades looking back on it now. Well, that's what our expertise is here for. Another big one that is so much cheaper to put in before the house is built as opposed to when it's done out here in Arizona is a soft water loop. And that just means that they plumb or loop the property or home to be built with the intention of putting in a soft water system, as we have what's known as hard water out here. You don't necessarily have to put the system in anytime soon, and you could pretty much go with any system that you'd like to go with. But out here, again, the soft water system is pretty popular. And most of the people that relocate out here aren't really that familiar with it. So it's always good to have the guidance of somebody that knows that it's a lot cheaper to have the house looped, plumbed for the soft water system during the building stages as opposed to afterwards. And while I'm on that subject, if you look down in the comments, you'll see that there's actually a link to our relocation guide. It's free, it's beautiful. So just click on the link and it'll take you right to it and enjoy it. That's what we put it out there for, just to help people, much like these videos, just all about helping people. So that would be a big broad stroke answer of question number 4. And as I say, different builders have different upgrades, and then we would be more than happy to see or judge or rank or rate which ones are definitely you need, which ones you want, or maybe just ones that should be an option on the list before we take consideration where we are with the budget, under budget, over budget, and then you can kind of knock out what your favorite add-ons were, or perhaps add on what the ones you absolutely have to have. So that's question number 4, and coming up, question number 5. Okay, you stuck with it. You're stuck with me. Excellent, thank you. Here comes number 5. And I can't tell you how important it is or how much I value the fact that you watch our videos, and hopefully they are adding value to you, helping you out in the realm of Arizona real estate. If you like it, and boy, I know almost every video has this in there, but it is so important to us. If you could just leave a quick comment, click that thumbs up, and most important to the survival of our channel and the growth of our channel would be subscribe to it. So now that that's out of the way, let's dive into the last question, which is, are HOAs worth it? And I got to tell you, I am just so impressed with all of the questions that some of our clients have given us to answer. And again, although we hit the top 5, there probably could be the top 100, and they're just all so important. But being that we had to kind of dive into the meat and potatoes of the top or the most commonly asked, that last one was, how important are HOAs, or are HOAs worth it? And again, here's the thing with HOAs. They can vary from anywhere from $50 to $500. And when people ask us, whoa, I don't know that I ever would pay that kind of money for an HOA, I respect that. But what we have to kind of do is break down what exactly you get with that HOA. And by the way, for some that may not be familiar, HOA stands for Home Owners Association, which means there's an HOA, Homeowners Association, that governs the subdivision or community for the property that you will live in. And there's different rules and regulations of that HOA. Most common here would be an HOA that would cover the ground maintenance. Perhaps there's a swimming pool, perhaps tennis courts. Some have gyms, clubhouses that you could rent. So again, the easiest way to explain it is the higher the HOA, the more amenities or outdoor attractions the property or subdivision would come with. So really, when we look at, is the HOA worth it, I think the better way to answer that question or back into the answer would be, what are you looking for? If you have no intentions of swimming or no intentions of playing basketball, then I guess those two things would not be important to you. But if, for example, you're coming to Arizona because you never want to cut 5 acres of grass again and you like walking trails that are maintained, then I guess a subdivision that would have those amenities would be worth it to you. So some people rank the HOAs, as I do, as what amenities come with it, or what am I getting for what I'm paying for? And some just want to make sure that whatever they're going to paying for, they would be able to get the use out of it. I always joke around, as I've heard many a times, that the actual juice has to be worth the squeeze. And I guess that makes sense. If you're paying for something, I guess you want to enjoy it. The other kind of sub part to this question is, do I have to have an HOA at all? And no, great question. Some communities do not have HOAs. Is that good or is it bad? Is it right or is it wrong? Correct or incorrect? That's not really so much for us to decide. What us being professional real estate agents, what our main goal would be is to break down and explain what you may be getting or what you may not be getting for what you're going to pay for or what you're not going to pay for. Some people don't want to be told what they can plant in their front yard or what color they can paint their house. And some people want the neighborhood to look pretty much uniform. Not right or wrong. I never judge. I just lay the facts out there to best help clients and just people interested in real estate overall. So I truly hope that this video helped you. And if you did, please take care of yourselves. God bless America, and I'll talk to you next time.